Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe so you can catch more videos like this as I do post them. And please also leave a comment below if you do happen to own your own statues or you happen to have this particular statue and you want to share your experience with it. Also, please do check out the description section below where I often put more information and potentially links as well. Let's get started. So this is going to be a review, or more so a bit of a story about my experience with the character, the Rhino, and just the reason why I really love this particular statue. This is a statue that I was so excited to see when it was selling years ago from Sideshow. And this is the Rhino, just in case you're wondering what character this is from the Marvel Universe. I'm going to give you a little bit of a history about the Rhino because it goes all the way back to me as a child in the 70s. And I actually have one of the comics. Now, this is not a comic that I purchased back in the 70s because obviously I was a baby and I wouldn't have been able to, go to stores. But this comic I purchased later on as a teenager when I would head over to the local comic store or the local comic conventions as a kid, and we would, hop on our bicycles, and we would go there, and typically what would have been a, 15-minute ride or maybe a 20-minute ride by car took us like 2 or 3 hours to get there because, we also took wrong turns. There was no GPS. Like today, everyone has a GPS on their phone. Back then, we were on our bicycles and we would try to get there, and all of us, some of us would forget how to go, some of us would think that we knew a shortcut, and before you know it, we were lost. So sometimes just getting to that comic store would take like 3 hours, and I'm not even kidding. Anyway, what I do want to show you is this comic in particular, which came out in 1974, which was actually before I was born. So this comic I had as a book and record, which they put out, I guess, probably in, who knows, maybe 1977, maybe 1978. Anyway, I had a record player, which was, I think the brand was Fisher-Price, and it had like a yellowish or orangish record, the place that you put the record on top of. And it was like white, and it had like one speaker, and I just remember as a kid, laying there on the floor on my stomach or sitting there and just putting the record on and, reading along with this particular comic. There's a few pictures in here that just really just left a big impression on me, and I'm trying to find it. Yeah, so for example, this picture over here where General Ross gets punched by the Abomination, that was a big one. And the Rhino grabbing Betty. This little fight scene where the Rhino hits the Hulk in the back. That was something that, as a child, it just totally left an impression on me. Oh, and this right here, I remember this one with the Abomination over here, and I was always wondering why he looked like this, like the color was different. But, now when I read it, I realize he's talking about, when the sun rises, whatever, and the color's supposed to kind of match up to it. And here's another one. I was just going to show another one. Now this picture I remember thinking, why is the Rhino going to step on the Abomination's shoulder? This particular one right here with the Abomination picking up what looks like a tank. And lastly, these 2 pages right here, which were basically just like a big fight scene. So these were really the scenes, the pages in the book that, when I would listen to that record, I would just follow along and just be so amazed by it. Anyway, I do have, I do have another comic, and this is the Rhino from back in 1969, The Wrath of the Rhino, again appearing in the Hulk. So that's a little bit of just a little bit of history with me and this character. I'm sure that you might also have a history with this character or maybe the Hulk or whatever. If you want to share it, please do. I'd love to hear about it. So let's talk about this great statue, but first I want to just show you the box briefly. The box just basically says Rhino all around, so R-I-H-I-N-O. I mean, that's pretty much it. Rhino on the top of the box. So that's, you know, that's the box. Pretty cool looking though, because the box has like the rhino's skin on here. So, you know, that's what it looks like to me, like the texture of the skin, or kind of like what a rhino skin does look like you could see more over here. But I like this statue, and I mean, for so many reasons. First, let's get a look at the heads. Let's get the head to focus. So this is the head that I like the most. This is a very classic looking head, like the one that's in those comics. The classic looking head is very different than the other head, because the other head is like this. You can see, so it has a lot more chin, a lot of teeth over there. I mean, it does look great. You can see the chin and the actual, you know, the actual rhino part with the eyes. I mean, it's really fantastic looking. I don't think I've seen a statue from Sideshow that wasn't fantastic. Even if I don't like the character, you know, typically, or even if I don't like, you know, the pose that the character's in or the suit that the character's in, you know, typically they just make really nice statues. So here we could see both heads. You know, and again, this is the one I like. I like the more classic looking one. I don't really need all that chin. But, you know, opinions are going to vary. I'm trying not to crash the two into each other while I'm showing them. So yeah, so I'm going to throw the head on that I don't care for as much first, and let's take a look at it with this head on. Now, this statue shows best, in my opinion, when you're down somehow, you know, if you're lower. So I think placing this up high, which is the reason why I have the camera down so low right now, placing this statue up higher, I think that it shows better, because you could kind of see more of the rhino charging and running than if I'm standing up and I'm looking down at it. I'm going to make a little video of it, showing it from all different angles, but with this head, it lines up pretty well. The you know, the seam isn't really, you know, it's not really that noticeable. It's a little bit off over here. There's a bit of like an indent, but it depends on the angle that you're looking at it from, because I think I'm gonna shuffle it down just a bit, because if you're looking at it, you know, from like this angle, it's not really noticeable, but looking at it from maybe like here, you could see there's a bit of a spacing over there. So that's really my issue. On this side, you know, it's not too bad at all. Gonna put the classic head on. Actually, I'm gonna get this head out of the way because I'm envisioning it just going airborne, and that's the last thing that I want. I didn't want to make these videos in a room where the floor is tile either, because I know at some point I'm going to be focused on the camera or paying attention to talking, and I'm going to tap one of these things somehow, and they're going to go airborne, and I'd much rather it hit the carpet than hit a tile floor. And I'm hoping it doesn't go flying, but I'm just kind of, you know, getting ready for the worst. So this statue does look really fantastic overall. It's actually much lighter than you would think. And just to kind of show you, when I pick it up, I mean, you know, you could see I could hold it with a few fingers. It's much lighter considering it's so big, and it's just, I mean, it feels massive. The overall detail of it is just, I mean, it's mind-blowing. Because, I mean, I think that it just looks so realistic, you know? Yeah, but it's not as heavy. It's not nearly as heavy as you would think. Actually, the Sideshow Hulk statue that I did a review of, I made the video of, that statue is much heavier than this, and yet this one just looks so much bigger, so much thicker. Okay, so back to the statue itself. You know, the shoulders look amazing, and I like the little bumps and the lines in it that give texture to the rhino's skin. I think that the overall, like the muscles, like over here, the tricep and how it connects to the forearm looks fantastic. There's some forearm veins in here. You know, the hands don't look too big. They don't look too out of proportion, you know, compared to the rest of the body. The overall thickness in the legs and the thighs and the calves looks great, you know, along with the feet. It's just a very well detailed statue. I like how they put a little bit of a vein in here and just a little bit over here. Yeah, and over here, the way the hand is just, it's turned backwards while the rhino's running. Again, the triceps, the way the triceps look connected to the elbow, and the forearm. Shoulders look good. Shoulders look nice and, you know, nice and strong, really thick. The traps and the other muscles of the upper back. You know, the rhino just looks really, really strong. Looks really, really mad too, and just in, you know, full charge mode. The chest and the abs as well just look really, you know, really tight, really thick, really strong. I like the bicep over here and how the front deltoid is connecting into the bicep. It just looks great. Over here, one of the other delts, like the medial deltoid. It looks like maybe over here might be a bit of a separation for the rear delt. You know, it looks like they definitely paid attention to anatomy, or maybe this is just supposed to be like it's so big it's kind of one, or maybe because it's a rhino, I shouldn't be looking at it like, you know, this is a bodybuilder, which I always tend to do. But yeah, I mean, you know, looks great. The quads, the teardrop muscle, how it looks over here, you know, it just looks fantastic. The side of the calves, the lines in it, the feet, you know, the toenails making it look like a rhino's foot. Just looks great. Just looks great. Everything about it. I like how the hand is tense over here. You know, this is a statue that you could enjoy with other statues, other, you know, superhero statues like that Hulk that I did the review of. You know, I think that the two of them would look nice together on display, positioned kind of like, you know, the rhino's charging and the Hulk's going to try to smash him on the way in. As for the base, you know, the base looks kind of standard to most of the statues out there. You know, there's not too many statues where I look at the base and I think it's the most amazing. You know, that's my, you know, personal opinion, of course. You know, it's kind of plain. The rocks aren't very detailed. But, you know, this statue is a older statue. It's many years old now. So, you know, in some ways they have come a long way with, I guess, trying to like outdo themselves. Sometimes I do feel like it can be a bit much, or sometimes I think it's just right. Because I think that there's that, you know, capturing the essence of, you know, some of the comics, how the character was drawn, compared to maybe trying to make it as real life as possible. And that's actually one of the things that I used to appreciate about the statues from Bowen. Randy Bowen's statues looked like a comic book. They weren't very detailed, but it looked like a comic. Whereas the Sideshow statues, I felt, kind of took it a step further and made them look more realistic, more of like a real life approach. yeah, Statue is a great statue. Again, you know, the viewing angle I think is best with the Rhino up higher, so you can kind of see it from this type of a viewpoint. You know, you want to, you know, see the chest as well compared to just seeing the back. So thanks again for watching this video. Again, if you happen to own this statue, please do, you know, post some comments below. I'd love to hear about it.